What's good, y'all, man? Thank y'all for jumping in. Curtis, how you doing, brother? I had to find another spot in the house, I think. Now I can't hear you, bro. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, man. What's going on with IG, man? IG is trying to sabotage this.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man, but can you turn you up a little bit? I still can't. I'm still having trouble hearing you.
Okay, what about now? Matter of fact, actually, let me see. No. I had the AirPads, not more. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better. We should be good. So I just wanted to, honestly, I've been checking out the dad bod thing. I've been checking out the vegan life stuff, man. And that stuff is like really inspiring me, bro. So, you know, about a year ago, I quit my job teaching. I was teaching every day. And I jumped into this music entrepreneurship. And so obviously, you know, I'm a graduate of the University of YouTube. I pay attention to all the things you guys do. So I said, let me pay attention to some guys that really been doing this for a living, you know, see how they're doing it. So I started paying attention to the vegan life thing and just making those little choices day by day. I'm starting to notice the difference in myself. And the first person I thought of was you. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about was the dad bod thing, kind of the countdown and the score you were keeping. Can you talk to us about that?
Right. Sure. So, you know, anybody who knows me, you know, one of the things that if you don't want me to get something done, don't tell me I can't do it.
Facts.
That's one thing I cannot stand. If you don't want me to get something done, just don't tell me I can't do it, because I'm 95, 98% chance I'm going to go ahead and do it. But I say that because the manager of the apartment complex that I live at, she said, she basically promised me that, you know, when you have a son, because I just had a son recently, he's not recently, but he's 6 months, and she said, you're just going to have to just give it up. Like, the dad bod is going to come no matter what you do. Like, you can't fight it. When I heard can't, I was like, nah, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And then reality did kick in, and she was sort of right in that time just wasn't there like it was before to work out, because you want to be a good father, you want to be an active father, you want to be in your son's life, as well as, you know, I have a wife as well, and I wanted to be active in their lives. But, you know, with my wife's cravings, those cravings became my cravings, because those 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning runs at 7-Eleven. Gets you thinking about food that you wasn't thinking about if you was just at home going to sleep. So 50 straight days I went without going to the gym, after going pretty consistently. I say about 3 or 4 times a week, more so 3 times a week. And so things got a little big. Like I saw myself in a picture holding my son by the pool. Was not happy. Yeah, I was not happy with what I saw, and I set the goal really with the motivation of what the manager told me. And I said, you know what, since I missed 50 days, I'm going to do 50 days of high-intensity cardio, because in the midst of all that going on, I damaged my wrist. My wrist is still,
man. How'd you do that?
Can't do like this. It's like jacked. You can't see it from this angle, but it's literally jacked. So basically, it's a challenge for me to do any work on the computer for long periods of time, including making music, including lifting weights. And it put me in a situation where it was like, okay, well, you better readjust and make this happen. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah. So the whole fight the dad bod thing became my own movement, regardless of who jumped on board. It didn't matter to me. It became my own movement where every single I repetitively put up the same Insta story post of me sweating myself out. And then on top of that, you know, what music I was listening to. But in addition to that, I started off at 242, and now I'm at 226.
Oh, congratulations. So, good work, fam.
Thank you. So in a 50-day period, when, you know, I get all of these, and I don't know how I get all these bodybuilders and fitness people following me, telling me, oh, you can't lose weight just doing high-intensity cardio, and you need to lift weights. And I'm like, you know what I realize, when you realize how impatient most human beings are, you start to take less and less advice. Yeah. Because, you know, a lot of them were like, well, if you eat fruits, it'll happen faster. And I'm like, well, what if I enjoy the process? Did you ever think that?
Right.
What if I like running? I know that's probably rare for some people, but what if I just like running? Like, you know, but I just, you know, I took it and smiled, and I told them, you know, I'm still going to do what I'm doing. And then here we are today. I got my result regardless, and I'm still pushing through. Like I want to get down about 215.
Okay.
So I got about 12 more. So,
I mean, you approached it the same way you approach your music career, right? And that's one of the things that intrigued me.
Sure.
All of those same habits, all of those same things, you can transfer that to every area of life, man. That's dope.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny because one of my former managers, shout outs to Salas, said, you know, I work best. Talking about me, Curtis King, he says, you work best when you're in campaign mode and you're working towards a specific goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know how some people will sit there and kind of just work, and some people can actually, you know, motivate themselves on a daily basis to where it's like, I'm just going to work for the sake of working. For me, if there's no purpose, if there's no strong why, it's very difficult for me to keep focused. I'll get distracted by social media, and this is me being really transparent. Like I'll get distracted, or, you know, I'll start playing with my son. But if I set a very specific goal and go into what I called machine mode, and I knew what I wanted to get, I mean, I didn't need anybody to tell me, you know, to keep going. Like I set the goal, and I have to. I put myself against a wall. I back myself against the wall and say I have to go get it. But that's the best way that I operate in any situation. When I was pushing my album and we pushed that to number 4 on iTunes, like that was all campaign mode. I operate better in that mode, I should say.
And so there seems to be this other residual effect, and I wanted to get some clarity around it. Are you like sponsored by a vegan restaurant? Do you have a relationship?
No. I literally pulled up. I pulled up on all of these different vegan restaurants.
Yeah.
And it was places I was already going.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of them, you know, the thing about it is people are always complaining about, you know, the obstacles that exist with eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's too expensive. Then the counter argument I make is that the hospital bills are more expensive than any of that food could ever be. And then the other argument is that there's not enough places that sell it. Everything is just selling like, and it's true, there's an abundance of fast food, but the tide is changing now. You know, anywhere you go, literally, if you're following the right people on Instagram, if you're looking up the right stuff on Google, you'll find plant-based restaurants. And that's what I started doing. I just started pulling up on these places and just trying it for myself. And I was like, well, since I'm already here, let me document the process.
Facts.
And let me do what a lot of our peers don't do a lot, you know, which is producers don't show enough about their lives outside the MIDI keyboard. Everything is like, I like, if you look at some Instagrams, it's like I only sit by the MIDI keyboard. I never eat. I never hang out with friends. Like, unless they meet me at this MIDI keyboard, there is no life.
Yeah.
And stereotypes. So I was like, let me break away from it, because I also wanted to be an example of other content that we can do to put on our timelines. We don't have to do beat visualizers. We don't have to do, that's a necessity, but it's not the only thing we can do, you know? So I wanted to try to create, just throw a little wrench in the matrix for a second and see what happens.
You know, one thing that's dope now in 2018, you know, the years leading up to it, we're creating our own producer culture. And it's not just, like you say, in front of the MIDI keyboard. It's our whole lives. Listen, I get around. I meet a lot of producers. It's common for producers to have health issues, right? Because you sit there day after day. And I know what it feels like. You know, I try to develop the type of work ethic where I know which days I'm going to work, and I don't have to sit there and be a slave to what I call my creative zone. But everybody's not in that space. I know what it's like to not want to leave the chair because I don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? And then when you realize you've been stuck in that cycle for a few months or a few years and you really committed to it, like, great, you committed to your craft, but, you know, one day you could win a Grammy and you don't even get to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So that's real talk.
Look, they say don't spend your whole life trying to attain. Don't spend your whole life sacrificing your health to get wealth.
We sitting here, man, we got the folks' attention and we just chilling. What you want to plug, man? What you got coming up?
Well, right now, the main focus for me is making sure that anybody who's interested in learning FL Studio, or maybe learning or looking to transfer from or transition from another DAW to FL Studio, I have an FL Studio beginners course at teachmeflstudio.com. So that right now is the main focus. Rappers that are looking for production. I mean, obviously, y'all here with the man that got production already, but, you know, if you want to have an album full of, like, the letter L and Curtis King on the same project, look, CurtisKingBeats.com is a place to go. But outside of that, man, Curtis King Beats has everything that you need: one-on-one consultations, drum kits, and all that good stuff. I try to vary up the strings, but youtube.com/Curtis King TV. You just throw Curtis King with 2 S's anywhere, you'll find me somehow.
Oh yeah. Now I know I'm definitely probably going to take the FL course. You know, I'm going to be teaching music production at the University of Illinois in the spring, and so, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff just in conjunction with that. And this has been an interesting experience. You know, when they call, hey, what time do you want your class to be? Yo, how long you want your class to be? You know, this kind of stuff. Like, yo, it's 3 credits. Like, yo, what do you want to teach? I don't know. And you know, it's weird because I feel, you know, I live in Atlanta now, or I live in the Atlanta area, and you know, you throw a rock and everybody makes beats. You know what I'm saying?
We here, right? And so it was like, most people, what they do is they spend more energy trying to change that part of them instead of trying to figure out, okay, most people see the person that's talking too much as negative. That's fine. How do I utilize it in a positive way? Because when you utilize it in a positive way, that now becomes your biggest asset and the most natural thing that comes to you. Think about who Stephen A. Smith was before he was Stephen A. Smith. He probably was argumentative. He probably was loud. Probably was probably cocky and arrogant to a lot of people. He said, where can I be loud? Where can I debate? Where can I talk sports? Because I love sports. And where can I be arrogant to a certain level and people won't even be mad about it, or it won't even matter to me? He became a sports analyst. Yeah. And now he's the best at what he does, to where you listen to him like argue with Max Kellerman, and it's like, it's funny.
You love to hear about
it. Man's been doing this. This is who he is. Monetizing that and start getting monthly checks for your habit. Now you took a negative and use it in a positive way, and it's not so negative anymore, right? So I think that a lot of people have the mindset that in order for me to be successful, I have to change everything about me first. And it's like, yes and no. You don't really have to change everything. You're going to change no matter what.
Yeah.
So when you find more success, things around you will look a little bit different. If you're a negative person, as you start to find success through utilizing your negativity in a positive way, you'll start to look at people a different way. You won't be so, you know, glass is empty mentality. You'll start to, but I actually enjoy this, and there's some good people who support me. I have an audience that I have a responsibility for. You'll change in the process. Last thing I'll say about that is that I have a mentor of mine. He says basically I have a mentor that he does hypnosis for UFC fighters. Okay. And one thing he tells them is that when you're in a fight, like say you're in a fight and somebody hits you in the eye in a UFC battle. He says, don't use your energy trying to get your vision back. That's energy that you literally could have been utilizing to now readjust and say, okay, he got my right eye, but I got this left eye, and I still got both my hands and my legs. Okay, now I just got to like operate amongst these particular parameters. We spend so much time trying to make the imperfect perfect, when if we just view things as already perfectly imperfect, things would be in a whole nother space. Everything is perfect as it is, no matter how bad it is, because of this is contributing to the future you. This is contributing to where you're ultimately going to be. You got to take it as is and realize this is all in divine order. It all is.
Yeah, one thing, you know, I had my situation when I first came to Atlanta. You know, I had a little.
Like, for me, that's to either satisfy our own personal egos or to give some kind of, you know, social proof to our audience. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, bro, they're here because they love you.
Yep.
They love you. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that because I've had a lot of people who are like, man, I haven't had a placement yet. But it's like, it doesn't mean what it used to mean anymore, because of now where you're at right now. You are much more powerful being here, speaking your mind and sharing your art. At least I feel like that's just me. That's one person's opinion on it.
And listen, I'm always working, but what I have realized, I've seen the fun in just like building my own brand and doing because I still get to be a musician. My music still gets out there. When I stopped, because, you know, I did stop focusing on selling beats for about a year. I stopped focusing on placement so much and just focused on the kit game and the sound game. And what I realized was, one, I had a lot more fun, because, you know, you got to do the demos, and you got to do the videos, you got to do the art and all that kind of stuff, you know, is a creative outlet. But then, like, it's weird. I'm getting collab requests from like industry guys who have placements already.
And it's like when you was at the front door saying, "Yo, I'm down to collab. Anybody in there that want to come out?" Like, I got my keyboard, I got beats. Everybody ignores you, but you walk in the back door and you start eating in the kitchen, and not even eating. You start cooking a meal, and the smells start running through the house. And they say, "What the hell is that? Somebody in there cooking. Who is that?" Oh yeah, that was me. I was the one at the front door a few years ago. We want to eat. We eating. We're good. But you're invited, you know. But I think that's what's happening is now a lot of industry producers are understanding that they knew that the internet would change things, but a lot of them have 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
And I talked a lot, right? And so what I learned over the years, well, okay, I like to talk a lot. Well, people will listen if you know stuff, right? And so it's just weird because, yeah, you did say a lot, but you said so much.
Yeah.
So, man, thank you very much. That was very valuable.
I'm about to say, one of my favorite quotes from Les Brown, and you just reminded me of it. He says, someone's perception of you does not have to be your reality. And so many of us take that on. You know, when Les Brown's one of the most like famous self-help public speakers of all time. I know about what I feel about myself. So
yeah.
You didn't offer me anything. What's more valuable for me coming up was when I can get a producer who talked producer needs to me and was like, you know what, if you take that snare and start to bring more of the mid frequencies out of it, like by going to the parametric equalizer and having that conversation said, oh, I get it. When I first came up, the biggest critique of my beats were that they sounded too video gamey. And I'm like, the hell does that mean? Right? They sounded too piano-y. What is piano-y? What kind of an adjective? Right? And so I would take that and try to change everything instead of trying to realize, you know, there's a bigger picture in this. And it was actually my mom who was the one that said, what they're saying is that your sounds don't sound real. They sound synthetic. Because my mom was she played piano for over 30-something years, and she just knows music. Like my mom had an opportunity to tour with Bootsie Collins, but her mom's was like the real deal. But her mom, my grandmother, was like, nah, you're not, because all the drugs and all. No, you're not. But mom's like listened to my beats and was like, your chord progressions don't have an ending point. They just go on forever. And I was like, damn, that's so crazy. It's so simple, but I understand it now. And so, yeah, like critiquing, man, you got to get critiques that construct something new. Okay, the beat's trash. Why is it trash? Getting a critique from anybody is just 2 sets of ears. That's all there's. It's 2 ears. And if somebody says, I don't like it because the 808s are too distorted, because the drums are too loud, okay, tell that to the producer of Triple X's, music. That became his sound. You can't tell somebody how to. You can't tell somebody how to dress their baby. That's what I've been telling people about judging trap beats lately. I'm like, you gotta go find out what the trap standard is before you go and say this, and this is wrong with the trap. So when I'm measuring a trap beat, I judge it by like my traditional standard. But then I say, but I know the trap. Like I know, you name me the top 5 trap guys. I've been in the room with them or made beats with them. I know what know what it's supposed to sound like, and it don't sound like the way. Mm-hmm. Maybe I thought it might sound like after, I studied, Justice League. You know what I'm saying? Right. Well, I tell you, one of my biggest goals when I do beat critiques, I'm trying to make sure that people who are oranges don't become bananas. Okay?
Right.
And what I mean when I say that is that I'm trying to make sure that if you come in here and I know that it is your calling, or I feel it's your calling to be in sync licensing, I don't need you trying to make little Yachty type beats. You're out of your element.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to find your most success doing exactly what comes natural to you, but more difficult for other people. Mm-hmm. All of that, I did not know how to mix to the mixing standard of the industry, I should say, right? I don't want to say properly mixed, because the mix is still an expression of your art, right? When people say my drums are too loud, okay, like,
yeah.
But they smack nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
They were having that conversation. All the new guys are new. Here's another thing, bro. You wouldn't believe it had the I'll talk about this part. I had posted Brian Michael Cox and Needles at the A3C at this little panel discussion that Kai was doing about the future of beat making.
Right.
Here's what's interesting. I play ball on a weekly basis with the new trap guys. Young Land,
okay.
Beat Monster Mark, Ike, Renzi. These guys are producing for, they did half of Kevin Gates' album. They doing Dolph and all the new cats, right? And one of the homies had basically like, yo, why didn't they get anybody new? And this thing had, Brian Michael Cox jumped in. It was all love, but it was just an expression of like, hey, you calling me old? Hey, we only set the framework for you guys. And the other guys are like, yeah, but we having the hot year right now, the hottest years. Why are we representing? And so it's weird to be able to kind of see both of those at the same.
Something wrong with this picture, right? After 10 years of seeing albums that I produced a single for. Hold on just a second. Somebody at the door.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, man.
But you got a package?
And I hope it's an open package, too. I don't know. Especially all these packages have been coming up lately. I don't know if I want to open this. One. Oh, this is from my publisher. I'm sorry. My bad.
They send in the checks and UPS packages.
Nah, because it's like look, it's like low key open. Let me see if I can flip the camera around. It's like low key already open. I didn't even crack it.
Oh. They stealing books.
Sus, ain't it? Huh?
Go ahead. Well, since you did it, you might as well go ahead and plug the book now. So go ahead and flip the box back, flip the camera back around.
I'm a little worried about this box. I want to plug, but I'm a little bit worried about this box right now. I'm like, why is it open?
Because here's what you got to think, like, yeah, it's the money, but, like, your book is getting out there. like they want your book so bad, they're stealing it.
Look, but here's the thing about it. That's the thing about it, too. It's funny how on timing this is, but another stream of revenue, right?